Hello. Can you, is it okay? Are you ready? Let the door open. People can come. If you scream very, very loud, they will come. Okay, so please sit down. We will start in a few seconds or maybe a little minute when everybody is comfortable. Okay, so who came for HTMX here? Okay, who came for Display Builder? Oh, the same people. So the other half of the room, you just want to discover this. Okay, let's go. I'm Pierre. It's a very special year for me because I will celebrate my 20 years of Drupal. You may know me because of UI Suite. We are a community of Drupalers specialized in design system implementation. It's been a few years. And I'm also the core front-end manager, provisional for now. I hope I will get officialized soon. And I provide some services. Today, in Drupal core, but also in Contrib, display building is a mess. This is not the most glorious part of the product. Block layout, page layout is old, 10 years old, and didn't get any innovation. View display and form display also. Sure, we got layout builder and layout builder override. It was nice, but it was dropped, and then no much happened. And view, yeah, it's also display builder. It's very complex. We have a solution for that. We can fix it if we address those three issues. First, we need to be able to use what is in your theme. In your theme, you add some plugins, some definition. We need to load them and leverage them. Second, those display builder, visual builder looks all different. We need to unify them to have a single experience. And third, we need to make them at the level of 2026, because it's been 10 years, so now they are old and clunky. For this, we need a new generation of visual builders. We need them design system native. That means your ADC, your icon pack, and soon your style utilities and your design token, you will be shipped as Drupal theme, and then load by the visual builder. We need a unified experience, and we need modern advanced feature. Everybody agree? Yeah. So it's easy, only three stuff to do. And we did it with Display Builder. So is DDD here? So we are between us, developer. So I will do something very risky. I will start with the demo. This is a Drupal 11.3 website with just a few additions. Display Builder module, a Daisy UI theme, and I also activated a gene from 11.4 branch. So let's start. It's so sad. It's so sad. No preview. You build only one page. You can't use your SDC or your icon. It's sad. So instead of this, we are proposing this. It's a very simple config entity. You can create as much as you want, and there is only a few properties. The label, the profile, we'll talk about that later, and some condition plugin. For example, I created user profile here. Sorry. And user profile, it will be shown on user pages. Easy. I enabled. I build. This is Display Builder. It's a very classic UI. You have the libraries on the left, component, blocks, and preset. You can switch your view between many ways of manipulating the display, and you have button. We also have right-click and contextual panel. So let's have a look. If I go to the home page, first I will do a change here. I will change my color. And I will publish my new display. So I go to the home page here. My home page is still managed by block layout because it doesn't fit the condition plugin. But if I go to your page, it's managed by display. It's cool, no? So with this very simple config entity and very simple mechanism, you can already replace block layout. Let's continue. I have created a display with a layout builder. Let's have a look. It's a simple display where there is a DaisyUI card as a layout, and then we fill the field in the slot, and there is a DaisyUI button as a field formatter. I will activate Display Builder, start my building. Everything was imported for Layout Builder. Now, you can see in the log. And I can now work on my display. So what I will do, I will change my button variant. It will be accent. And I will put, I don't know, a background color. It will not be very nice, huh? But I want to show you, sorry, my background color was on my card. Like that. So you can see here, we have many different ways of manipulating, and we have a very nice log system. I can go redo, undo, I do whatever I want, and I can publish. So let's publish this. I create an article. Hello. An image. And then, I don't know, Athens, Raki, cheese, you know. Yeah. So you see it works. So I replaced Layout Builder with the exact same tool as with the page layout. And the only difference was, the context, because I have access to all the data of Drupal, all the context of Drupal. And last demo, I will create a second article. Same image. A second article. OK. And let's have a look. Sorry, yes, on view. Views. There was a UX team working on that like 15 years ago, and they did a great job. But it's very complicated because we are mixing a query builder and a display builder in the same tool. So what I'm proposing to you is to split. You do the query with view, but we have this little plugin here. Let's have a look. And here you have access to the view display with the same UI, same experience, same feature. And with that, so I can add all my data. I will just do something very simple. I will take a HDC component, and I will, for example, the grid. I will do two regions. I will drop the view title on the first region, and I will drop the rows on the second, and maybe the pager also on the first. Okay? I publish. Hey, cool, huh? Your nightmare with you is over, and it's a good boy. That means we are very integrated into views, and you can go back from one UI to the other, and we are not breaking anything. I have many things to show you, but we miss time. We lack time, so maybe we can talk about that with a beer tonight. So it's very cool. I'm very proud. And we did all this in less than 300 days of work. So a small team like that was able to produce this powerful, modern visual builder because of 3 ingredients. 3 secret. I will give you my 3 secret ingredients tonight. So the first one is love. It's sweet, but it's not a joke. We are a small team of Drupalers, and we know each other for many years, and we are really passionate about design system and visual building. We build a lot of tools you may use, like the US Suite tools, and so when we started this project, we really started with all the love we have, and love makes stuff more efficient. Our second secret is Drupal. We will talk about that later, but this module is very small, because we are using Drupal as much as possible, and the modern Drupal. We are using the condition plugin. We are using the fee formatter. We are using the context mechanism. We are using everything Drupal is providing to us. So it was very simple. It was not simple, but simpler than expected to build this tool. And the third secret ingredient is HTMX. Yeah. So let's talk about HTMX. It's a new core API, and it's resolved 10 years of dilemma. We told ourselves for 10 years that there is 2 ways of doing a website, the classic way and the LS way. And the classic way was simple, maintainable, and was fast. But unfortunately, it was feeling slow because of low interactivity and low reactivity. The LS way, it was feeling fast, high reactivity, users love it, but in reality, it's a slow mess. State is duplicated, logic is duplicated, it's very complex and very error-prone. So we were like, I need to choose between 2, what can I do? But why not the benefit of both? Can we have the best of both worlds? Yes, yes. And the solution is very simple. You keep the normal rendering, but you send HTML fragment, not HTML pages. Because what is making a mess in a LS architecture is the rendering. And now we can avoid that. But wait a minute. We have this in Drupal, no? It's not new. We have it for a long time, maybe 15 years, 20, with Drupal 6 and AHA. I don't know how to pronounce it. Yes, we have it, but we don't really like to use it, no? It's legacy. It was forgotten during the Drupal 8 modernization. It's very specific. It's a Drupalism and a deep Drupalism, and it's fragmented. So HTMX was brought into Drupal core as a way of merging this, modernizing it, and also leveraging something from the bigger world. We did that already. We did that with Symfony for the server-side logic, and now we do that again for the client-side logic. So it's a big moment for Drupal. And I know the code base of the front is smaller, but we don't need to understate the importance of this move. So HTMX was picked because of the quality and because it was fitting exactly our needs. Now, HTMX is in core. You can already use it. And every core release, we are improving the API and we're improving the usage. So how does it work? This is the magic. You will see. I will take an example. It's a simple example, but all the examples are simple. I'm taking this alert. I choose the success variant, and I click the undo button. It's looping. Very simple. So, it starts with HTMX attribute, 2 of them, one with a target, HTTP target, and one with an event. So the HTTP target will do something on the server state. It will alter the server state. Now, the HTTP can be sent by the browser. It's received in Drupal, and we decided to alter a content entity. Revisionable, that's why we have all the revision logic. You can undo, redo, it's very cool. And transcendable, that's why we are able to do asymmetric, symmetric translation, everything. Not ready yet, but we are very soon. So this entity is a single source of truth. We are not keeping any state on the browser, because keeping state in the browser and synchronize it with the server is the source of the mess. We keep only a single state in the best place you can keep a state, Drupal and the database. Now, we are altering this state, this content entity. We are triggering events. Those events are listened by plugins, Island plugins. Each plugin can decide to do something or not according to the event, or what happened. Those plugins are attached to a config entity. This is a profile I'll show you later, before. And let's have a look at what is an island. The answer is very simple. Everything is an island. Ah, wrong device. The tabs and the content of the tabs were island plugins, PHP plugin. The button I'm interacted with are island plugins. Contextual panel, island plugins, exactly. Libraries panel, island plugins, and also, very cool, the menu item island plugins. That means all the logic, it's owned by the server, on the logic is under the control of Drupal. And you can add your own plugins from the contrib or from your project, from custom. So it's very cool. We loop on each island plugin, and we ask them, something happened in the server state, do you want to be updated? And those plugins are very simple. They have a build function to build themselves according to the state. Instance is a state. And they have a helper function, helper method, one method for each event. It's just an helper. You can manage event manually if you want. That means this history button will rebuild itself every time there is a change in the history. Revision, revision delete, revision add, undo, redo, all this stuff. So it's very cool. And I told you about the profile entities. Everything is configurable. So the UI I show you, you can move the island, activate them, configure them. Everything is configurable. And adding this was very light, because it's, once again, it's very Drupal-y. So we are nearly at the end. we alter the state, trigger an event, and now we are returning a renderable fragment. We send this to the good old render API, the renderer service, no surprise, no crazy stuff, and the response is updating the browser. This response is also very simple. You only have the markup one after the other of the island. And for example, here we can see the markup of the button undo and redo, and with a new value. That means no state in the browser. That's why it was so fast. That's why it was so simple and so also nice to use, because no state in the server. So if you want to get this in only two concepts, out-of-band swap, that means we are swapping many parts of the page with a single HTTP request, and event-driven update, we are triggering event on Drupal, and it's where the magic happens. Ah, sorry, yeah, you can take the picture. Okay, so HTMX is cool. HTMX is one of our three secret ingredients. But we have the question all the time. Why not headless? Why not headless? Because headless is cool too, no? So let's fight a bit. Have you heard about headless fatigue? Yeah, you do. It remembers you something. We are tired. It's been 10 years, and we are tired. We are tired of duplicating the business rules. It's crazy when you think about that. To duplicate the state management and to spend most of the project to align the state of the client and the server. We are tired of this crazy build tools, configuration tools, all these tool sets, and all those transpilation mechanisms. We are tired of not respecting the browser. Why Display Builder is so fast? Because the browser is doing all the job. There is nearly no JavaScript in this application, only to resize the side panel, you know? So when you trust the browser, you benefit from the efficiency of the browser. And also, it's heavy and fragile. We all use React app, and we know it's slowing down, you need to refresh, you lose the state, yeah. So HTMX fixes that by keeping the true on the server state, no building tool, and just let HTML what HTML does. Nothing more. So I have two examples of products who went from React.js to HTMX. I have nothing specific against React.js. Huh? It's LS rendering in general, but most of the examples are based on React.js. So Context.com is a French startup, and they did the jump a few years ago, and they got good result. Very good result. So is it only one situation, or do we have more? There is one I picked. Unfortunately, I don't know the company, but you will see why I picked it. So it's a SaaS company, a lot of users, and they did an experiment comparing the two. They got good result too, and they have also business KPI. And the business KPI are crazy. And now you can say, okay, this is cool, this is cool. But it's not Drupal. We are in Drupal Dev Days. Unfortunately, on Drupal, we don't have such a switch. But we have two tools we can compare. The visual builders. There is Display Builder, and of course, there is Canvas. So let's do the exercise comparing the two tools. They are very different. They go in different directions, but I believe they are the same ambition in complexity, even if the features and the coverage are diverging. So, Display Builder is small. It's very small. It's fast. We need only a little team. Canvas, they are the best developer, among the best of the community, and they were building something very, very ambitious and very, very impressive. But the numbers fit the sizing of the team. People say, Display Builder, you are small, very small. How can you build such a tool? But being small is a feature. If we leave the community, because your gun will stay forever, but us, we may leave, we can find in this room people to continue the maintenance. Because it's very Drupal-y, it's very pragmatic, it's very humble, and any medium qualified Drupal developer can continue the project. So, what's next? First, I'm happy. I'm very happy to talk to you about this, because maybe it will be the end of something that happened to the industry 10 years ago, and let's go back to sanity. Of course, not for everything. Some very specialized tools still need heavy client state management. But most of our projects, even a Visual Builder, doesn't need that. On our side, we are going fast, and we are building from bottom to top. Integration with Drupal display is done. You saw them, and not all of them. We have a few others. We have all the business logic done. We have all the profile and configurable stuff done. I can show you a demo if there is not too much question. And now we are working on symmetric translation. A few hours left. And we will start the UX and the accessibility. About the UX, it's a bit specific. I agree with this feeling in the community that UX must be first. And us, Drupal community, we didn't really value the UX as much as we need the last years, and it's getting better with Drupal CMS and everything. But for this specific project, I wanted the UX to be addressed later, because we are building a tool to build a UI, to build an UI. So I wanted to be sure the lower level are good enough. A little manifesto before closing. Display Builder is front-end friendly. What does it mean? Use your SDC, your icon, and soon your style utilities and your design token as they are. We want the front developer to be focused on UI logic. We don't want them to build the component for us. They need to build the component to be the best according to the design they're implementing. So this is our promise. Don't think about us when you do your SDC. Do your SDC the best you can, and we will manage them. Because Visual Builder must not dictate how the design implementation is done. Because if we do that, we are back in the old days of Drupal, when we tell the front developer, if you want to tame Drupal, you need to follow the rules. No. Now we are entering an era where the front developer is only following the rules of the design, and Drupal will consume the implementation, and the Visual Builder must leverage this implementation. So, Display Builder is a project, but there is other layers. UI Suite. It's been a long time now we are working with Drupal, and it's very nice. We have modules, we have teams, and we also work on core and to do some issues and to propose new features. HTMX Drupal core is its own little project and community, and they are very, very active. So if you want to get in touch with them, I can help to embed you. And you know the Island plugin, the very cool Island plugin I saw you? You can build any tool with that, with this little mechanism. So if you want to use the Island plugins in your module, we can extract it from Display Builder and have a country module. We can share the work together. So join us. We are a small team, so every people who come to work with us will have a big impact. We have a lot of fun. And if you have a question, you can ask me now or later, or go to the Slack channels. Thank you.
Hi. So Display Builder doesn't depend on UI Suite initiative, or does it?
Sorry?
So does Display Builder depend on UI Suite?
Yes, indeed.
Is it independent?
So a Display Builder depends on a UI pattern, which is the component management system of UI Suite. UI pattern is the engine of Display Builder. This is one of the two dependencies I've shown in the slide, listing dependencies. Question here?
Hi, thanks. This was very impressive. I have a question as I was watching the demo. How easy it is to set up repeatable sections or regions of a theme? For example, the header or the footer. So
Okay.
you don't have to do this for other pages all over again.
I will show you. It's a question I like when I can do demo. I wanted to be fast, so I already used something I built before the talk. But you will see if I create a new page layout, and my page layout, I will not put, okay, so I will not put condition, so it will be for every page. And I start building. This, let's have a look on the layer. This is directly your block layout and your block config entities with the expected configuration. So you start always from what you already have. Then, let's have a look. It was imported from block layout. Then you can start to play around. So I will put a button. I will put a button here, for example. Here. We should put, I don't know, a success button, empty, so we keep things simple. You see? So I have my two revisions here. When I publish, it takes the ownership of the page, but we always start from Drupal. We always start from Drupal. This is really the every time we do something, we are positioning ourselves the closest of the existing Drupal architecture, and we are never contradicting what Drupal is managing and providing. Never. Yeah, another question.
Thanks. About the ecosystem of control modules around the layout builder, I think about, for example, layout builder locks, section library, and other stuff like that. Is it in the roadmap to implement such features directly into display builder or as control modules?
Thank you for your question. A mysterious person. So, yes, of course, we will cover most of the layout builder ecosystem, but more of that, we're providing a very simple API to extend. I will show you a few cool stuff. Let's start with layout builder restriction. It was to restrict the block and component, no? So, you remember when I was there, I picked a profile. So let's go to my profile list. Here. I can create as many profiles as I want, and each profile will have an UX and a feature set. And each profile will be linked to user role. That means you can have a very complex, powerful tool for your team, and you can build a very streamlined, a very simple tool for your client and the marketing team and the content editors. So this is every island here can be, as I said before, moved around, activated, deactivated, and configured. And a layout builder restriction is very simple. It's here. You can edit the component panel. And for example, I will remove everything but Olivero. And I will save. And so I go back to my, here. And I have only the teaser of Olivero. So this is covered. Then, layout builder asymmetric translation, it will be covered in a few days. Layout builder lock, we have a prototype. I think you can't imagine. We have implementing the layout builder lock in 30 line of code, 30. It's a single PHP class, like all the other plugins, and it's manage the UI and the logic. And what else? Section library. Okay, section library is the easy one, because we have a preset system. So you can take any part of the tree, and we can save as a preset. So my green button is here. I save, and now it's here, and I can drop it as much as I want. You can drop very complex stuff, and you can keep a collection of presets like that. And what is very nice, presets are context sensitive. That means here, there is no context, because I just put a SDC component, and I will, if I go to another, I will find it here. Where is it? Yeah, it's here. I can drop it. But if I put some data, contextual data, for example, a view plugin or an entity field, the context will be checked, and you will have the preset only if your context are matching. I don't know, maybe other layout builder module you want to know, but as you can see, it's very easy to replace this big and complex ecosystem once you have the right API to manipulate.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for the great session. My question is about translations. If I have a multilingual site, still be compatible with all the languages that I have in the system?
Yes, indeed. So how it works? When you work, in between 2 times you are pressing the publish button, you are working in this content entity. Content entity is acting a bit like a temp store for Layout Builder, or like the view executable for view. So you are editing this content entity, sorry, and the revision are shown here. But once you publish, the display is moved to the final storage, final permanent storage, entity view display, soon entity form display, views, and page layout. So this entity, volatile dynamic entity, is translatable. And it will be very soon symmetric translatable. Then, when we copy to the final storage, we resolve the tree and the translation, and we store the translation as expected by the storage. So that means on config storage, config entities, it will be asymmetric, and if in content, it will be symmetric, but you don't care, because what is important is what you are doing in this instance, and it will always show the display you are building with the translation you are doing.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hello, thank you for the presentation. Really great. I'm looking back into the HTMX example you gave for the island, and I see a very different pattern than I am used to in Drupal. Where if I have to do Ajax, what I do is like I write a PHP code for it.
Yeah.
And in HTMX, it is not a PHP template, is it?
No, I don't know what you call template, but by default, HTMX works like Drupal Ajax. It works with the locality of behavior. That means you are adding some attribute here. You send a request. The request send HTML and replace sometimes the exact. You decide. The exact same fragment. Sometimes a single fragment elsewhere. This is the behavior by default in HTMX. And this is how we use HTMX when we modernize the Ajax API, because forms expect this kind of stuff and everything. But what I show you here, it's something a bit more fancy, and it's what I call this. What does it mean? That means there is no direct relationship between the request you send and the part of the page you are updating. We expect you to send a business request, something to alter a state, a business state in the server. Then we trigger the event, and we are going back to the UI logic, and then the event is recolting lot of fragments. So we decided to use plugin, but you can use anything. We just need to get all the fragments. And then out-of-band swap, you see, it's written swap OBB. Every fragment is a section in the HTTP response, and is updated. That's all, look. That's all you can have this very seamless integration. For example, if I do undo here, it's updating itself, editing publishing because the state has changed, is not publishing anymore, editing the log, editing the preview, editing the builder, editing the layer. But we just replace the smallest fragment possible. So we didn't send all the panel, for example. So it works like that. You change something on the server, and you have this little, tiny, efficient HTML fragment, and pop, 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 you replace. It's done, it's fast, it's light, it's love.